afternoon, my lovers. Right, I thought today, as I'm not going out metal detecting much lately, I thought I would try and preserve my spearhead. So I'm going to preserve the spearhead. I was watching Aqua Chica, and he preserved his cannonballs by boiling them in candle wax. So I thought, whoa, I'll see if I can do the same. The only problem is, it's quite long, so I've come up with an idea of boiling it in a baking tray. So in this pan here I've got some candle wax which I was using to preserve small items. Get the gas going. And over here I've got a baking tray, and I bought these candles online. It's got 10 candles in each box, and we're going to pour it all into, melt it down, and this just about fits. There you go, that just fits. So we're going to attempt to preserve this spearhead by boiling it in candle wax. Is it melting? Oh, it's just starting to melt now, like round the edge. It's moving. This candle was that I got it in a shop, and it's a scented candle. But hopefully these candles in here, hopefully these, I don't think these are scented candles, they're just ordinary. Right, got a knife here somewhere. Yeah. Oh, bit brittle. Nice bit of hard wax. Perfect. Obviously I'll have to take the string out. Oh. Right. Chuck that in the fire. I've got a wood burning stove, I'll chuck that in later. Oh, this is starting to melt, look. This is melting. Right, let's chuck a few in there. Oh. Now once it's all set after I've done it, and I'll let it set, and then I'll be able to put it in a bag or something and use it for a future project. Right, now I'll get back to you when all this is all melting. This is probably one of the most drastic preserving operations I've tried to do. But Aqua Chica, he had a great big burner, you know, one of those gas-fired burners, and he had that, and he was shoving all his cannonballs in this great big burner, and it was all full of candle wax, and gradually it sort of boiled out the moisture, and that's what we got to do. We got to boil out the moisture. Right, I've got all the candle wax out. There's all the strings. Oh, piled them up, and they've stuck to the work surface. Oh, made a bit of a mess. Oh well. Right, let's pop this in. Oh, let's put it in the other way. There she blows. Gone in. Right, now we leave it in there to simmer for a few hours. It's quite hot, and hopefully this should preserve it. Still got a bit of candle wax in that one. Let's pour that in. Yes, I reckon this should work. This should work. Let's turn the heat up a bit. I've got two of the hobs on. Hopefully it should start to bubble a bit. Funny patterns in moving around in there. Oh, it's definitely starting to boil at that end. Look, boiling. So we've got to get it hot to drive off the moisture that will be trapped inside the iron spearhead. And this is the reason why I'm doing this. So if you look at this nail here, look how it's all starting to fracture. Look, great big sherds of the iron is just falling away, look. And that's because inside there's water still trapped within the iron. And if you've ever seen any of your horseshoes, you'll see that they will start to gradually just degrade and break up. Yeah. Look, just falling to bits. So if I carry on doing this, and you can see it's boiling all over the place, then in theory it should prevent this sort of like fracturing and the breakup of the iron. Look, just bits of it. And you'll probably be able to do this with horseshoes, but I recommend doing it in a pan, because this is a bit, you know, it cost me 15 quid in candle wax. It's gradually simmering away. And I watched Aquachigger, and he simmered his cannonballs for about an hour. Well, I'm going to let these things bubble away in the candle wax here for about half an hour, and then I'll get it out and dry it off. And then in the future, if it does start to show signs of cracking or fracturing, I will do it again. If you look really close, you can see the whole surface is bubbling away. All the little fissures in there. And all, like, the wax is getting right into the iron. And where those little pockets of water would have been, is all now being replaced with candle wax. You may want to open the back door, because there is a small amount of smoke coming off of this, and it set my fire alarm off. So I'm going to now attempt to get it out. This is going to be quite hot, so I've got a fork. Lift it up to onto the edge. Right. When that's cooled down a bit, I'm going to grab hold of it. And I got some kitchen roll. And whilst it's hot, I'm going to dab off the excess wax. Ow! That's hot. That's pretty hot, that is. That is pretty hot. Right, I'll probably have to grab all that with a glove, methinks. Right, let's turn the gas off. I got a glove. Dab off the excess wax. Ow, this is hot. Ow, ow. God, even through the gloves, it's still blindingly hot. Right, so hopefully that will now have preserved it for centuries to come. And the wax in there, I'm going to allow that to now set rock hard, and then break it out of the baking tray, because otherwise I won't be able to use the baking tray, you know, for cooking Sunday lunch. There we go. I think it's been perfectly preserved now. This actually stayed hot for quite some time afterwards, but now there was a slight bit of cracking just there on that edge. So I'm going to keep an eye on it for the next year, just to make sure it doesn't start to fracture like that nail. And if it does start to look as if it's going to go, then it'll go back into the wax for another boiling session. But that looks pretty preserved to me now. Hopefully it'll go on for another few hundred years. Cheers!